And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our NFL segment of our football segment of episode 173 of the Splashcast Monday Night Raw. Your co-host Reggie got a few things we're gonna talk about today. So moving on to the AFC, you have the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Bengals are fighting for the last wild card spot. Everything else is pretty much decided. I think it's the Chiefs, the Bills, and then everybody else really. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Steelers. Who's NFC North? Yeah, Chiefs, Bills, AFC North. Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Steelers. And then there's pretty much everybody else. So the Broncos and the the Broncos and the Bengals played, and if the Broncos had won, they would have clinched the playoff spot. But the Chiefs ended up winning. I'm sorry, the Chiefs. I keep saying the Chiefs. The Bengals ended up winning 30-24. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. Hell of a game. Bo Nix, I got nothing bad to say. I have tried to downplay you because I don't like Auburn. I don't think you were really good in college. But, I mean, you are strengthening your argument for definitely number 2 in offensive rookie of the year for sure. But if it may be, I mean, you're making an argument for number 1 because if you take your team to the playoffs and Jane Daniels takes his team to the playoffs, it's tough. Jane Daniels is going to win. But, I mean, you have an argument.
Let me tell you this. You're the Ashton Genty of Offensive Rookie of the Year. It's tough. It's unfortunate that you're not going to win it because I genuinely think you've played very well. Way better than I think that, I mean, Denver's in the same kind of situation as us. We found our quarterback. Now what do we do from here? How do we get our guys around it? And if not for Jaden Daniels putting on that masterclass last night, Jaden Daniels made me a believer last night. Them people in DC and the DMV, they could dance in the streets right now. They're so happy to have a quarterback. And he looks so good. And that sucks. Because I think last week I was ready to call you Offensive Rookie of the Year. But boy, that man is that man. And all you do is be a fan.
So the Bengals ended up beating the Broncos. The Broncos, how this came in was supposed to be a Jamar Chase versus Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain has allowed a passer rating of 39.1, which is when targeted this season. The rating would be higher if they threw it into the ground each time at 39.6, which means he gets picks and all of those things. Patrick Surtain, I don't know if he's the best corner, but it seems like he is. I can't think of anybody better. I think L'Jarius Sneed had that for the last couple years, but he's been hurt. I think he was hurt this year. No, L'Jarius Sneed was the number 1 corner. I think Sauce was the new shiny thing. L'Jarius Sneed was viewed by most as the number 1 corner. Sauce, although Sauce is probably top 5, I think he had a down year, which I don't blame that on him. I blame that on the Jets. Oh, yeah. But Patrick Surtain has been the most consistent on a team that hadn't been until this year. This defense played really, really well. The problem is, as with the Falcons, when you have an elite corner and A.J. Terrell and Patrick Surtain on one side, the other side normally gets beat down. And let me tell you who got beat down. Since we want to be political, I like to call this white on white crime. Y'all, Riley Moss, one of I heard that laugh. I heard that black man laugh.
No, how they say look like you was written hard and put up wet.
Whoa. Riley Moss is the second corner. Is cornerback number 2 for the Broncos. And don't think that we're making this racial. Don't think we're doing it. Because they did a whole ESPN special on the white cornerback this year, and they profiled Riley Moss. Cooper DeJean was another one that they profiled. Well, let me tell you something. Riley Moss got owned.
We all got the same internet. We all got the same internet.
Riley Moss was owned by T. Higgins. T. Higgins had 11 catches for 100 plus yards and 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown. When asked about the performance of T. Higgins and Riley Moss, he said, "Hey man, sometimes you just got to eat a shit sandwich," which is true. It's not like T. Higgins wasn't wide open every time. He was just bigger, stronger, and faster than you, and it reared his ugly head.
Higgins. What you mean, bro? T. Higgins. Cincinnati. I want to say a couple things about Cincinnati. Joe Burrow.
Satisfying
T.
black
Higgins.
moment. Free Garrett Wilson. Free sauce.
Jamar Chase. Hendrickson. All elite players. Something spooky going on in Cincinnati. Jamar Chase saying, "Pay that man." I think that means he's out of there. But I think it's also undeniable that this dude is a really, really good wide receiver, and he should have been paid.
Wait. Before you say anything, I also think Sauce may be out of there too. Because Sauce said, "Pay that man." And somebody in the comments said, "Bring him to the Jets. Tell him to come to the Jets." And he said, "I am not telling him to come here."
Well, see, I interpreted that differently. I interpreted that as y'all already pissed Garrett Wilson off when y'all brought Devontae Adams over here. I know that realistically, me and Garrett Wilson probably outlast Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. So let me be on the side.
You think all of that thought went into that in them comments
yes.
I did in there? I don't at all.
Yes, I think that they are going to move away from Aaron Rodgers, and I think they're going to move away from Devontae Adams. And I think that if they're smart, these are the two guys that I can build around is Sauce on the defense and Garrett Wilson as a receiver. Yeah, we just need to find our quarterback and figure that out. But yeah, for sure, the young guys, we're the young guys. Let them old folks go. And I don't 100% know if that old regime and new regime is meshing. I don't think it's meshing well together at all. So yeah,
I don't think they have a regime. The Jets. I don't think the Jets have a regime.
Oh yeah,
because they let go of Salah. That was ain't no regime, ain't no nothing.
But I think the regime is either you with Aaron or against Aaron, and I think that if you're a younger guy, you're like, oh no, I'm not going with that. That's crazy town.
Yeah. But the Bengals ended up winning, and of course T. Higgins went crazy. Jamar Chase went crazy too. They just moved him away. They moved him around. And Patrick Surtain played well. And again, Bo Nix threw a Hail Mary at the end of the game to get it to overtime. And so it's not like the Broncos played bad. It's just you have
not good enough.
You have the statistically the best quarterback in the league, the Triple Crown winner at receiver, and then another top 20 receiver that's pissed off because he's not getting paid. At some point, you got to look at the defense. It's like with the Falcons looking at with Jaden Daniels. It's like, well, shit. Now, I mean, I done did everything I can do.
We don't have the capacity.
What Riley say? I don't have the capacity. Pass me the shit sandwich.
What you expect me to do, bro? I just got here. I just got this job. Y'all done got me over here with the dude who pissed off. He pissed off at his own team. You know he pissed off at me. He ain't doing nothing but taking me out there to the woodshed and whooping my ass. Show everybody else, look how good I really am. He ain't even beating me because he hate me. He beating me because he hate them. No, man. Y'all got me dumb.
Why the hell y'all got me jump? I'm justified. This been probably too long. That's like when your friends start fighting, you got to jump in and then you feed a big old gargantuan Hercules looking dude.
Why did you slap him? Nobody asked you to slap him. Now he mad.
And now he got 7 people that you didn't even know about.
Get in this car and shut up. Don't say nothing to me till we get to the house, bro. I'll fight you now.
So with the AFC wild card scenarios look like this. If the Dolphins win, well, first off, if Denver wins, they're in. If they win versus Kansas City and they're playing Kansas City with Carson Wentz and nobody else, they win and they're in. which would be an incredible feat for that team. If they lose, then the Jets win. If they lose, I'm sorry, then the Dolphins win if they beat the Jets. If both of those teams lose and the Cincinnati Bengals win against Pittsburgh, then they get into the playoffs.
Okay.
Let me tell you what's most likely to happen. The Denver Broncos are going to the playoffs. Full stop.
Maybe. Now, I'm not saying that these two people are the same people, but their story is very similar. You remember when Baker got cut from the Panthers on like a Tuesday and ended up starting for the Rams on a Sunday, and he knew I needed to do something so I could get a job. He took the Rams out there, and I think they beat the Raiders like 17-16. That got him that job with Tampa Bay. If I'm Carson Wentz and I still have any inkling of wanting to play, because boy, if he could be good enough, he'd get right over there to the Jets, right? He could be the Jets' new Sam Darnold.
Carson, let me speak for you here. You have made your hundreds of millions of dollars. Sam Darnold has not. You have won a championship even though your knee was hurt. Sam Darnold had not. You are on a Super Bowl winning team with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, and Chris Jones may go down as one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. You just got to sit there and hold the clipboard. I understand if your pride wants you to go out and...
No, he's playing this week. Mahomes is done.
Listen, I understand that your pride may get you out there to want to go ahead and say, I'm still a starter in this league. You don't need to be. You don't need to be. Go ahead, play just good enough to show that you understand the offense and you can come back as the backup and just help game plan and start your coaching career. I'm all for starting your coach. This is what we starting in 2025. If you ain't good enough, start your coaching career, dog.
But
start drawing up some plays. Go back to North Dakota.
The other part about this is if I win this game, I very well could get. This is what Baker did. Baker's played defensive tackle in scout team for the Panthers. He went out there to the Rams and said, "Oh no, y'all think y'all gonna flush this game? I came to win, and 1-1. If you keep the Broncos, who are a pretty decent team, out of the playoffs, there will be a market for you, my boy. There are going to be teams that want a cheap trial, especially if you're drafting a quarterback. If you think that Carson can get you what Kirk got you for $5 million instead of $100 and some million, it'll be great.
Tell you why it ain't gonna happen. Baker was still out there, if I'm not mistaken, and you could pull it up, look it up if I'm wrong. Don't kill me. He still played with the first team offense though, and you were playing the Raiders. You didn't play a top 3 defense in the Broncos, who has something to play for. You playing
Andy Reid though.
Sure. I have nothing bad to say about Andy Reid. If anybody can do that, he can. I don't expect for them to the Chiefs, as you see in this graphic for those listening, the Chiefs are about to have 24 days off of rest by not playing anybody. They're always banged up. From Christmas Day all the way until they play the divisional round on January 19th. They basically get a month off because they get the week 8, they get the whole week off because they played on Christmas Day, so they get all week off next week or this week. Then they don't play again until week 18. This is set up. Conspiracy. This is why everybody's safe. Conspiracy for the Chiefs to win. Then they play week 18, but they've sold up the number one seed, so there's no need for them to play. Then they get the wild card bye because they got the number 1 seed. Then they play the divisional round. If I'm the Chiefs, I ain't playing nobody. It's Carson Wentz out there and everybody that needs to play to get a roster bonus.
But I mean, also, I mean, you got Carson Wentz. Say if you're not going ones, Chiefs 2 is not terrible here. Kareem Hunt at running back, Juju, Justin Watson, Noah Gray at tight end. It ain't great. I would actually be more concerned about the defense just being
The
a defensive
line,
sieve.
the line, their offensive line is boo boo at the first string. You know the second string ain't great.
Tooney, Caliendo.
You think all them gonna play all the whole game?
I think. I mean, Carson, you better figure it out if you want some more money. I think that they will be giving out money. You should try to get you some if you can. Once again, I also think that there is a Kirk Cousins effect. Everybody might not have it no more. If you don't have it, I mean that too. Motivation is different.
People evolving too now. Carson
right.
could outrun folks. Now you got power forwards out there trying to body slam you and do all of those things.
Whatever product you put on the field will let us know how interested you are in being a starting quarterback or your capability. Baker went out there and impressed, and it got him paid. I think if you impress, you could get your little $10 million and a starting job because they're going to draft a bunch of these guys at quarterback. And I think that it's probably a little bit safer for them to have a guy like you to start the season and let them guys get comfortable first and then transition. Or you could hit like Sam Darnold and really get to that money.
The lottery is the lottery for a reason. If everybody hit the lottery, they would discontinue it. You ain't going to have too many Baker Mayfields and Sam Darnolds. Your best bet maybe is try to be Nick Foles and just be a backup until somebody get hurt, and then you come out there and lead them to the promised land for 6 games.
I'm just saying you've been given the opportunity. Whatever you do with it, like I said, will be what it is.
Unlike the AFC, that the seeding is pretty much set with the Chiefs and the Bills, the Ravens or Steelers, and then the AFC West, East, South, AFC South, and the Texans with the AFC South. The NFC number one seed is up for grabs. Mathematically, I think you had 3 teams available, which was going to be Minnesota, surprisingly, Detroit, and Philly, of course, who a lot of people picked to be the number one seed anyway.
Cavs beating the Warriors 80-56.
Yeah. Trade deadline coming up. Oh, y'all about to be out of there.
LeBron playing for the Cavs again?
Nope. So you got the Vikings played the Packers, which turned out to be a really good game. 27-25. The Vikings are now 13-2. 13-2 or 14-2, if I'm not mistaken. Played a really good game. It was back and forth. The Packers played decently. I mean, they got down early, but they came back and won. They came back and got the game close. But then, of course, Sam Darnold and Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are a dynamic trio. And I agree. You have to sign Sam Darnold. You can't let him walk. Not now. You can't let him walk.
Oh, I don't think that's not a conversation on the table anymore. When I saw the Minnesota Vikings post, that's our quarterback, him walking there and the entire team hit him with the Gatorade bath. Hey, JJ McCarthy, take your time. You got a year, my boy. And I think that's probably the best situation for him not being a great passer in the first place. Man, let me sit here for another year and see if I can learn something and be healthy at the same time.
Or you trade him to San Francisco for a defensive tackle or Debo.
And then they get rid of Brock Purdy and start the Jimmy Garoppolo
or whatever. They trade him somewhere. Somebody going to need a quarterback, and everybody ain't going to be able to get one. So if you got J.J. McCarthy still pretty much new in the package, it's you could trade him for something.
No, that package already broken. That fruit is bruised. I can see it right there.
So is Michael Penix, but it looks different. Um, Speaking of Sam Darnold,
Michael Penix's knee work right now. J.J. McCarthy's knee does not work right now.
Sam Darnold, 4,100 yards passing, has more than Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. 36 total touchdowns. Lamar Jackson, 43. Josh Allen, 41 total yards. Lamar Jackson at 4,800. Josh Allen at 4,200. Sam Darnold at 4,300. 14-2, 13-3, 11-5. Completion percentage about the same between Darnold and Jackson, all above 60%. The difference is Lamar and Josh Allen can run. Sam Darnold doesn't need to run. So does Sam Darnold deserve MVP consideration? He deserves it. Yes. Will he get it? No. His team is too good around him, and I think his coaching staff is too good, and I think that's going to play a detriment to people considering it. But I mean, him and Goff, man, they've had hell of a year.
I think that those should be the 4 MVP candidates. And I think that all he needs is dimension. It's like when, you know how in the media, I just need you talking about me in a way where, because this is what's really going to shake out to how much money he gets paid. It's how the media responds to him. And I think for him, yeah, I know I'm not going to win this over probably Lamar. And I know they probably really want to give it to Allen, but Lamar is just so good that I don't know if they can. But I just need to be in the number. I just need to be in the conversation. So when they come back to me and say, hey, Sam, well, you had a really good season this year, and we like to bring you back for 2 more years, basically another trial year. And then from there, we'll decide. I think that if he goes into that and says, yeah, I need you to understand that I was the MVP candidate, that's a different conversation than, hey, I just had a really good year. What are you saying to?
Nah, you can't. If I'm him, you ain't no 2-year deal. Nope. If I'm having this good a year, somebody's gonna give me 4 years. Somebody gonna give me 4 years. I gave Kirk Cousins 4 years with no leg. Somebody gonna give me 4 years.
Yeah, but that's the other part was Kirk Cousins ran this offense the same way. It could be you, and it could be us.
Kirk Cousins won 14-2,
and now the defense probably wasn't as good either. But with that being said, I think that the best thing for you also is, you're right. You could get some money, but you could get some money over there and be stuck somewhere too. You don't want to leave this place. You don't want to leave Justin Jefferson and Addison. I can tell you that confidently. There's not another place on this planet. There's not a better job. You can get paid more money, but you won't get a better job. If you want to be an NFL quarterback for a long time, this is the place to stay. If you want to get paid, then take your ass to the Raiders. But your coach going to be fired every year. You're going to be fighting for your life, and this going to be your last paycheck.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot.
Where can you go and have Addison and Jefferson and that offense?
Not Carolina. Shout out to Carolina for we talked about Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Carolina, David Tepper, boy, you, sir, had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, and now both of them are having career years away from you. Ha. Talk about a glow up.
Yeah, glow.
That sucks. And you could have had CJ Stroud, even though you got Bryce Young, and I think that's gonna pan out a little bit better. But you are running this organization into the ground.
Think about it.
Or the basement.
You had Baker. Didn't identify he was a good player. I don't necessarily blame you for not identifying Sam Darnold as a good player, because San Francisco didn't either. Don't forget about that. But your team sucks, so it looks worse for you. Then on top of that, you did Bryce wrong. You were basically putting out feelers to see if you could trade him. And he's at least decent. And I think he's probably a pretty good quarterback. You're mismanaging assets at an unprecedented rate at this point. It just looks like they just go there to go somewhere else. You and the Jets look like you couldn't identify a good quarterback if your life depended on it.
Identify a lot. I mean, I won't talk about anybody else because they're all young. But they ain't really had great receiver drafts either now. That same draft that Justin Jefferson and all of them, I think the year after that was Terrace Marshall. He was supposed to be great. He ain't been that great. Xavier Legette. Now he's a rookie, so we don't know. I reserve a judgment on that. Everybody doesn't come out the gate swinging like the top three, but you got Chuba Hubbard, and I think that was a good one. But I think that might have been before your time. So David Tepper is awful. He's awful.
He is the constant. I don't think that. I think that I'm starting. I think he's the new Dan Snyder, but I think that their talent, identity, like Cleveland, you guys just can't find a quarterback, and you never will. I don't think that everybody there is bad. I think that this is a bad organization. So anybody who goes, I don't know who goes to Carolina and looks good.
As a what? Player, coach, executive? What are you talking
about? As a quarterback, I don't know who you send to Carolina and be like, oh, he'll look good there.
I think Bryce Young is going to take a meteoric step next year.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think that Bryce is doing about as good a job as you could do over there. Is what I'm saying. What he has, he making.
If I go to Carolina as a free agent quarterback, that is for the bag. That is there because I don't see a space where they grow. Like they are 2 to 3 years minimum. Like they got a lot. And you got to sign Derek Brown. I think they may have already done that. You can check that if you want, but I think they got to sign Derek Brown. He's from Atlanta. Hey, y'all don't sign him. Come on back. We'll pay you. It's ugly. It's ugly. But let's get back to the playoff teams. For the first time, I think since I've been watching football, you have two teams that have a combined 5 losses are in the same division. One's 14-2, the other one's 13-2. So that's 4 losses. The Vikings are right now number 1 seed in the NFC. They're the number 1 seed in the NFC North. The Lions are a half game back. Week 18, if the Lions beat the Vikings, the Lions get the number 1 seed. If the Vikings beat the Lions get then the Vikings get the number 1 seed. The loser,
they die.
You probably go to points. The loser gets the number 5 seed. So the difference is a first round bye or going on the road to play either Atlanta or Tampa Bay, which you're better than both of those teams anyway.
For sure.
But playoffs is different though. You never know. Playoffs, everything changes. Everything is high strung. Yeah. Everything is different.
Lions could play Tampa Bay, Falcons, or the Rams.
Yes, because if Tampa Bay wins and the Rams lose, then Tampa Bay becomes the 3rd seed.
Right.
Or if Atlanta wins, Tampa Bay loses and the Rams lose, Atlanta becomes the 3rd seed.
But boy, having that type of season being a 5th seed, boy, that stinks.
Ooh, while the Falcons are 8-9 or 9-8, and they're the number 4 seed and get to play at home, yeah, I'd be mad.
Man, we SMU if we win?
Nope, SMU had to go on the road.
You're right. Ooh. Ooh, Lord. You hate to see it, but wouldn't mind seeing it if it was you.
Yep. And also, man, in this graphic, shout out to Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson may be they're definitely a top 5 duo. The only duo I can think of that's better than them right now is T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Just because of what Jamar Chase has done this year with the Triple Crown, I'm probably leaning towards last year it being Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. but they are neck and neck. And then, of course, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, when healthy, are formidable as well with Drake London and Mooney.
I was about to say, do not leave them boys out, man. That and I wasn't picking Mooney to be that good. I was like, oh, maybe he'd be all right.
I told you. I told you as soon as we signed him. I like, bro, he run a 4.3, 4.2.
I 100% get. But I don't. That speed is cool, but you got to be able to have some elusiveness, and he got to get up and go. He got to get around, and he's a receiver. He can catch the ball, but I mean, if you look at Jordan Addison, 2021, he helped Kenny Pickett have a career year. 2022, he helped Caleb Williams win a Heisman. 2023, Kirk Cousins career year, and then 2024, Sam Darnold career year. He's like the Andre Reed. I mean, not the Andre Reed, the Joe Taylor.
No, he's Calvin Ridley. He's Calvin Ridley to Julio Jones. He is exactly. He runs all the routes. He made our DB. You saw what he did to Alfred. Him and Jefferson. They had him swimming on the field. I ain't never seen nobody backstroke on the field like that. I was like, bro, it's bad.
Hey,
so
let me tell you one thing, though, Sam Darnold. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You got a good situation over there. You leave there, you be dead in the year, Kid Ray.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, yeah. And then if you do that, you sign for as much money as you can, and then you just get incentives. If I throw for $4,000, well, $2,000 going to Justin Jefferson.
Oh, this is the other thing. If you're gonna leave Minnesota, you better get a Kirk Cousins. I want 100% guaranteed. If you cannot give me all of my money guaranteed, then I'm not leaving here. I'm not even considering leaving here, honestly.
So we talked about the Giants. We talked about the Vikings. The Lions held up their end of the bargain. They beat the 49ers tonight, I think 40-34, if I'm not mistaken. That team is broken down. They did sign Teddy Bridgewater out of retirement. He won a state championship down in Florida with his alma mater. Comes back out of retirement and goes back to the Lions where he was before. They love him there. He fits in seamlessly. They already said that he's a good leader. And he helped Jared Goff a lot. So the Lions won, and now, I mean, it sets up that game. I know Coach of the Year is probably going to go to either Minnesota, Andy Reid in Kansas City.
Ain't going to Atlanta, I'll tell you that much.
Or the Lions. What the Lions have done with this many injuries is phenomenal. It's phenomenal what they've done. Every other team that's built or in their category is healthy. The Chiefs, and you got to think about it. The Chiefs, the Vikings, the Packers. I ain't Packers because they beat the Packers. Chiefs, the Vikings, and the Eagles. All of them are now healthy. The Lions are the only team where everybody broke. Everybody broke. Broke something. Tore something, broke something. And it's be major injuries too. None of them is soft tissue. It's broken leg, shattered. It's Achilles. It's AC. It's ACL, MCL. It's so many things that.
And it's so heavy on the defense. That's the other part. The defense is
tired. Tired, but they keep getting it done. They like the Chiefs. They keep winning. They just keep winning. And they beat the 40. And the thing is, they beat you however you want to play. You want to make it set 14-10. Okay, we're going to run you over. You want to make it high scoring? Okay, 40-34. Like, however you want to play, that's how they playing. It's impressive.
And it feels like years ago since Aiden Hutchinson was injured.
That was like 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago. Man. But they're just, and they make, shout out to the GM. They make good moves. Not getting enough sacks, go get Zadarius Smith. He's causing havoc now. So now you got Zadarius Smith and Aiden Hutchinson. It's addition by subtraction. Like, you subtract Aiden Hutchinson, you sign Zadarius Smith. Now you have Zadarius Smith until next year to pair with Aiden Hutchinson when he comes back next year. Angry.
They played with like 15, 16 guys out today.
And won. So you got that game plan. And then waiting in the wings.
And your boy Ricky went for 141 today and a tutty.
Congratulations. Eagles 41-7 over the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't play anybody on offense. Cooper Rush is exactly who we thought Cooper Rush was. CeeDee Lamb out. Uh,
I don't think that's fair either. If you give me the offense without CD Lamb, boy, if you
against
take
the
the
49
yeah
against the Eagles with the
yeah,
Philadelphia Bulldogs
bro,
out
you
there,
could have
dog.
stuck Dak out there. Dak ain't gonna look too much better than that. Who you expect me to throw the ball to? Nobody.
Yeah. So I mean 41-7. So the Eagles, I think they theoretically I think could still get first place. I forgot the algebra on that. But I mean, they're pretty much entrenched in the second place. So they're going to end up playing the number 7 seed, if I'm not mistaken, which is going to be either. I don't even know who the number 7. Ooh, it's not going to be the Packers. The Packers going to be the 6 seed. I don't even know who the number 7 seed would be. NFC North, NFC South, NFC East, NFC West. It can't be the NFC West.
The Rams?
The Rams are won the division.
Correct. Well, we'll figure out here soon.
It's the NFC North. No, it is the NFC North because it's going to be the Packers. The Packers or the Lions or the Vikings. You're going to have to play either the Packers, Lions, or Vikings. Ooh, that's going to suck. So we're going to see if you fake or not. But 41-7, Kenny Pickett played a pretty good game. Pretty good game. Saquon
went for like 167. It's easy to go for it. When you watching Saquon, you handing the ball off.
Saquon's now at 2,000 yards. I don't think he catches Eric Dickerson. He might, but he also.
I think he's going to try it.
But I mean, that's how bad things happen. I'm not wishing it on you, but when you start doing stuff unnecessarily, bad things happen. Now, Saquon could get it again. I did want to ask you, if Saquon gets the record, does it matter if it's 17 games versus 16? Or however, I don't even think Eric Dickerson plays. It might have been 14.
For me, it does. Yeah, for me, it does. You know, it's the same thing I said about the receiving record. I want to see game average at this point instead of.
You'll never catch. Jerry Rice did that in 10 games.
I know.
You'll never
that's
catch.
What I'm. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's cool, but to me, no. I'm probably a traditionalist when it comes to this type of stuff. No, extra games make this easier. And no, I want average now. That's.
But who don't care whether it's 17 or 16 is the Giants, because the Giants and GM Joe Schoen, who we may have watched him make the decision that gets him fired on national TV, HBO. You let go Saquon.
You bring back a guy after this?
And brought back, you let go Saquon, bring back Daniel Jones, and end up with nothing. No Saquon, no Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is out there in Minnesota, possibly about to get the number 1 seed and get to the playoffs, something that your team under him has never done. You got to
in the conversation for a Super Bowl, maybe. If he leaves the Giants and end up with a Super Bowl, boy. In the ghetto. Boy, New York is one of the worst places you could be right now as far as football is concerned.
Yeah, it's awful. It stinks. It's bad. And the thing is, even if you live up there, because that's all your regional coverage, that's AFC, that's CBS, and Fox. There's nowhere else to watch. Woo, and they pimping you.
So this is my thing. How aggressively do you think that he goes out of his way to make sure that he doesn't see this clip on the internet?
Who? Oh, I don't think he has. I think, yeah, you got a flip phone. Gotta get a flip phone. I don't really see nothing. He said it in. He said, I don't really watch. I listen to the radio, music only. I don't listen. And he said, he said, I don't really plug into all of that because you get lost. He said that on the show. Foreshadowing.
Yeah,
that was foreshadowing.
You should not listen to VO 103, whatever it is. WBBQ hits and oldies, but you need to stay away from any sport. As soon as they start talking about sport, they can talk about golf or cricket. Cut the whole radio off. Just ride in silence. Cause boy, and don't turn the TV on HBO at all. Don't even have a Max subscription. They can
You can
offer
talk to
that in your.
talk to Micah though.
They
Micah gonna say some
this
wild stuff. Micah said if you take away the scoreboard, it was only about 5 plays that decided the game. That had to be 5 touchdowns. It was 41-7. So that means if you take away the scoreboard or you take away the 5 plays, the 5 touchdowns, then it'll be a tie game. Sure, Micah. Sure, bro. Sure. Listen, Micah. I don't know if they spiked your Gatorade, bro. You talking about you gonna leave $100 million on the table, $10 million a year, $50 million on the table. Now you talking about if the score didn't matter, we would have won. Like, bro, you might need to get out of Dallas. Get out of Dallas, man.
So this is the thing. When you say if you take away 4 or 5 plays, you are technically right. You just also sound stupid. So yeah, if you take the CJ Gardner Johnson touchdown back, where you guys don't lose as bad. You take away the 2 touchdowns from Devontae Smith, the other one from AJ Brown. Well, that's 28 points. So it's not that bad anymore. Then you take away the rushing touchdown from Kenny Pickett. Oh, this is a close game. As long as the scoring plays don't count, you damn fool.
Hey, man, this is what we call coping. A lot of people have different ways of coping with how bad their situation is. This is him coping because the situation is dire. The situation is.
If you just
dire.
if you just add a couple zeros to my bank account, I'm infinitely rich. You damn right. You add 5 zeros to my bank account, I live a different life. You take away 5 plays, you're right. Fool.
Yep. We're gonna zoom through this because we got to get the basketball. The rest of the things, the Ravens stomped out the Texans. Absolutely beat the Texans. The Texans look like, again, they're reeling from that injury, and I don't really see that happening. I don't see them recovering from that. They look like a one and done in the playoffs.
Don't do that, man. Don't be Cam Newton. Don't be front runners. When y'all was running, everything was cool, hee, ha, kiki, all of that. Y'all have an injury. Let me tell you one thing about football. If you play for any amount of time, injuries are going to happen. They're going to happen this year. They're going to happen next year. They're going to have injuries every year they have football, for sure. You got to figure out what you're going to do after the injury has occurred. And this crying in your car ain't it.
We gonna see. But I mean, also the Ravens right now Lamar Jackson is having a historical year. He broke another record, most rushing yards by a quarterback in NFL history. He's still like 26. So I mean, he has 6,000 yards in 100 games, which is 60 yards a game. He's more efficient. So that game for Houston was going to be tough. But Lamar out here, he's having the best year of his career, and he's already won 2 MVPs. That's insane.
He's the new Joker. He about to make it. Yeah, he broke the rushing record in 9 seasons. I think it took Michael Vick 13 seasons. He's got to get the 3rd MVP. Then once you start looking at people, he is going to cause a problem for a lot of white quarterbacks. Because 3 MVPs puts you in unheralded territory. How many MVPs does Mahomes have?
2.
No, he's going to have more MVPs than Mahomes.
All of that is going to be cool but you can have as many MVPs as you want until you win the Super Bowl. You got to at least get one. I mean, Aaron Rodgers got one. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't win a Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers is looked at differently.
Oh, for sure.
Same thing with Lamar. If Lamar wins the Super Bowl with 3 MVPs, he's now, against Patrick Mahomes, he's now looked at easily as a top 10 quarterback of all time.
So I got a couple. I'm not going to stay here long, but I do want to ask you this. Is he better than? Well, yeah, he's definitely better than Jim Kelly, for sure. But the one quarter, the
Why do
one
you
super,
think he's better than Jim Kelly?
because Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl.
But why?
So, I'm asking, is he gonna with 3 MVPs?
He's the
I
best
mean,
non-quarter Super Bowl winning quarterback of all time.
so you still putting like Kurt Warner, Ben Roethlisberger better than him, Russell Wilson,
You gotta win the
Terry
Super Bowl, dog.
Terry
Super Bowl,
Bradshaw?
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. If you want to do that, Michael Vick is better than a lot of them. But I mean, he didn't win a
Now
Super Bowl.
he don't have 3 MVPs. The 3 MVPs is what puts you in the elite category.
It's Jim Kelly is probably better than a lot of those people that you asked too. But Jim Kelly, one doesn't have the MVPs, but he doesn't have the Super Bowl. He went to 4 straight Super Bowls. I don't think that's ever been done. I don't think that's ever been done. 4 straight Super Bowls, I don't think has ever been done by any other team.
Okay, okay. So this is the other part. You look at most MVPs, Peyton Manning with 5, Aaron Rodgers with 4, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, Johnny Unitas, Jim Brown with 3.
Mm-hmm.
You getting right to the.
You got to win the Super Bowl. Johnny Unitas isn't Johnny Unitas without winning the Super Bowl and upsetting the Colts and throwing up the number 1. You know who you didn't put in this conversation? Dan Marino.
You read my mind. I was thinking about Dan Marino. Where do you put him? I mean, is Kurt Warner better than Dan Marino?
No, but he didn't win the Super Bowl. No, it's unfair. You could do this in any sport, anytime, anywhere. We could have this debate for 45 minutes. There's so many players. I mean, Charles Barkley is a top 75 player of all time, right? Never won a championship. Karl Malone in basketball, same thing. John Stockton, although stats start to be inflated.
None of those guys have the 4. Lamar Jackson with 1 more MVP puts him in a unique category. And I mean,
that'd be 3.
Odds are, yeah, this will put him at 3. And the people who have 3 are Brett Favre, Jim Brown, and Johnny Unitas. If he gets another one, it's just Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. I don't know what to say. I don't know what that means. But it's got to mean something.
It means you are a regular season Hall of Famer.
It also means that the team around you stinks.
I don't know if that's what that means. I don't think the Colts with Peyton Manning in 5 or the Broncos when he won over there, I don't think they stunk. I think Johnny Unitas' team had multiple Hall of Famers.
I guess Peyton Manning had to deal with Tom Brady. I guess Lamar has to deal with
Patrick Mahomes. And that's pretty much who he's lost to. I mean, yeah. I mean,
and I know Mahomes' numbers don't say it, but his play is MVP level this year. I don't care what you say.
Oh, you gonna see MVP Mahomes always gonna show up. It's just when he show up. He didn't show up during the regular season this year, but they got a month to be healthy. They about to show up right.
Show up, bro. I ain't got to go to all them classes. I'm coming right at the end, take that final. I'm gonna bust y'all ass and get on back to the crib.
Get on back to my wife. There's a joke there, but I won't.
Let that
Bills versus Jets. Nobody cares about this game. Aaron Rodgers got laughed at. He actually tried to sub himself. He did sub himself out and said it's time to go to Tyrod here, right? Hey, bro, no, bro. You lost. You the reason we down.
That's the reason people should still be able to get slapped. Because if you tried to insinuate to me that I'm going to roll Tyrod Taylor out there and I done paid you all that money and I fired the coach and I went and got the guy who you wanted to and now the rest of the team is going to melt down.
The guys.
Well, if you lucky I'll make you play defense.
Interesting about this. I don't know what the Jets were trying to do. They walked out to Gangsta's Paradise in front of Josh Allen, and Josh Allen proceeded to kick they ass up and down New York.
This is
the
also
turnpike.
the reason I think that Sauce Gardner is trying to get away from Aaron Rodgers. Boy.
And Garrett Wilson.
Gangsta's Paradise came out in 1995. A lot of these players were not even born in 1995. And that's not even the best Coolio song. Boy, if you think that in 2024 we going to RIP Coolio, you know that's the big homie. But you think we finna go out to Gangsta's Paradise in 2024? Oh no. And if you do, little league teams won't even go out to Gangsta's Paradise. Boy, you finna lose by a lot. And you gonna score a little. And that's exactly what happened.
The reason we put this up here, we bringing up the Jets, is because we actually said this. Norwood said this in jest, like 3 months ago when the Jets were terrible. But we said, based on what's happened with Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, now we didn't bring that in, but we said with what's going on with the Jets and how the Jets are a worse team this year than they were up under Sam Darnold. Somebody needs, I don't know if you roll the dice on Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, on the Zach Wilson. I don't know if you roll the dice on Zach Wilson. But y'all owe him, somebody owes him some type of something. I don't know if it's an apology. I don't know if it's a chance. I don't know if it's a attaboy. I don't know what you owe him. But you owe him something. Because he was scapegoated, and this franchise has gotten worse since he left.
Yeah, I will tell you that if I'm the Rams, hey, bro, you want to come by here and see what you can do? You the 49ers. Hey, man, Brock elbow be falling off from time to time. Yeah, there are just places that need a guy, especially if you are one of those guys who are what I would consider an elite coach, offensive coach. And I think that this time with Denver and him being with a real offensive guru, man, the Jets stench might get off you and you might be all right. It's clear that they can't identify guys who are at least decent quarterbacks. One thing I can say I feel confident about Sam Darnold and Geno at this point, might not be the absolute best, even with Sam Darnold having this type of season. But one thing he isn't as terrible as advertised.
Yeah, for sure. So Zachary Taylor Thomas is what we were calling him. And I brought that up because we did talk bad about him. But I mean, the Jets, Nathaniel Hackett
was bad though.
Yeah, but so was Nathaniel Hackett. Like the plays that he was calling for Aaron Rodgers are just as bad. Like in the way that offense and defenses are schemed up now, you have to figure out what they're doing pre-snap. And the fact that they don't want to move anybody pre-snap and you just figure it out as you go is arrogant, one, and it's stupid. And you set up Zach to fail. Yeah.
If you're not running motion now, you don't care about the quarterback.
Because you don't. Period. Round out NFL. For the teams, there's always next year is what I called this one. Tyrone Tracy and Malik Neighbors, the second rookie duo to both record 1,000 yards from scrimmage in rushing and receiving since 1970. The last was Reggie Bush and Marcus Colston in 2006. Take that how you will. But
and this is quite the accomplishment looking at Danny Dimes as quarterback and then Tommy Cutlets and all the rest of them to have two guys get 1,000 and your team was basically melting down.
Drew Lock.
That's it. And shout out to Drew Lock scoring that touchdown, running that touchdown in and taking them out of first place and dropping them down to fourth place.
I don't think that's going to matter. Unless somebody tries to trade up. Now that's the part you never know.
Well, if you're Tennessee, do you make a move for Shador? If you're Cleveland,
Tennessee?
do you make a
No.
What you gonna do at quarterback?
Remember they already Levis.
They benched him for Mason Rudolph to end the season.
You can't
can't what?
I don't know. I'm gonna say that I don't know. But I'm gonna say it's gonna be a lot of coaches openings. If y'all, boy, this class of coaches.
Is it worse to draft a guy and him not be good, or to keep rolling with the guy that not to be good? Like
you tell me, because Watson is staying in Cleveland. So you segued your own topic right there. Watson is staying in Cleveland after restructuring his deal after suffering an Achilles tendon tear and having the lowest QBR in the league
Yeah. Restructure. Restructure. You know how you start restructuring and thing breaking down. Woo-hoo, let me tell you. Man, you know what I love about the restructure is? The restructure means he probably there for the next 2 seasons. Because you're gonna break that money up over the next 2 seasons. So you can either take your penance and just be mostly done with him after next season, but they said, nah, restructure. So you probably got 2 seasons of big money Watson. Freaky D, some call it. This brings me a ton of joy. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns having just the longest run of not being able to get a quarterback. And it makes me even more.
All my life. They didn't had a quarterback my whole life. They never had a quarterback my whole life.
Who's the best quarterback that you? Tim Couch, maybe?
No.
Baker. That one season that Baker was good.
Baker Mayfield, and then they didn't have a team, and then they came back with like Tim Couch in them. I don't know. Johnny Manziel.
And then the best part about it is to see Baker go on to greener pastures and actually play well with a team that has some leadership at the top. And here are the Browns still scratching and fighting for between 3rd and 4th place. You deserve this. I don't feel bad for you. I'm not even gonna wish you good luck. Thank you guys for taking this off of our hands.
Just little backstory. So of course, Deshaun 5 years, 230 in 2022. If he were to be cut or released pre-June 1, the Falcons' dead cap space with Kirk Cousins was $67 million. Deshaun Watson would be, how much you think his dead cap space would be?
It's like 100, ain't it?
$172 million dead cap.
You guessed it. Woo! $172 million. Boy, talk about a poverty franchise. Boy.
So with this restructure, they can push his money out to the 2027 and 2028 cap years. They can push out some of that money to 2030. But what that means is he still has to be the quarterback for 2025, 2026.
But it'll be time to vote again for y'all even consider being good.
We might be it might be, nope, not going to say that. Not going to put it in there. But shoot, it might be some lettuce.
Canada will be a state before y'all.
Canada and Panama going to be another territory. Like he mess around with Trump.
That's a good question. You know what? I got a good nerve to put that on the IG tomorrow. Will Canada become a state before the Browns are good again? Which one happens first?
What is again? When last time the Browns been good?
I mean, they made the playoffs.
Like the Ernest Bynum era?
Bynum.
Bynum, not Bynum. Bynum?
No, they made the playoffs not that long ago.
– 2008?
Yeah.
What year was it?
Playoff game. They lost. They were 11-7, and they lost to the Houston Texans. 23. They went to the playoffs.
Last year?
Remember, no, that was 2 years ago. That was when Stefanski won Coach of the Year.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Another Georgia Bulldog, man. Brock Bowers, the final stamp on the I Told You So Norwood cake. Brock Bowers breaks Mike Ditka's rookie tight end receiving record, which has stood since the 60s. When they hit the 60s, Brock Bowers came in with a team, and he did this with no quarterback. And basically, is the best tight
I was
end,
wrong.
rookie tight end we've seen.
I was wrong. 100% wrong. He got another game to play, too. Go ahead. Put the record way out there. Congratulations on a fantastic season. You smoked my boots. Oh, I don't know if you'll have enough wiggle. We'll call that. Wiggle these.
I don't got to wiggle. I can just run around you. That's all he did. Run around you. He said, okay, I can run through you.
What are you going to do with that? You ever see anybody do that? Nah, I don't think so.
He's the most effective tight end, rookie tight end I've seen since Jeremy Shockey. Like those, that's how good he is, and he's gonna get better because they're gonna get some type of pass thrower, somebody they're gonna get.
Yeah,
whether Shador, Cam, free agency, they got enough money, and they're gonna add in some help, so you can't double team him no more. Imagine if you can't double team him.
I'm telling you, this is.
That's all the Chiefs double teaming.
Worst come to worst. Give me Jameson T. Higgins, and we can make this thing at least a game again.
Throw it down the field every time. That's right. Every time. 40-yard pass.
Right. And, I mean, they let Josh Jacobs walk right out the door. Devontae go, and I mean, Brock,
none of them wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Now, Antonio Pierce, you on another one now. It's the three blacks.
No, it ain't. It ain't nothing you can say to Antonio Pierce, bro. I had to trade away Devontae. Y'all made me trade away Josh Jacobs, and y'all didn't give me a quarterback.
It ain't about that. It's about being a leader of the organization and calling out your
lead
team.
What?
Gerard Mayo doesn't have anything, and he has given a master class of what not to say as a head coach. It's just, Antonio Pierce right behind him now.
Fire them both then. And all that's going to – if y'all haven't figured out one thing is if you do the wrong thing, it's only going to beget more wrong things. Don't be a stupid organization and push yourself further and further away from success.
Yep. Are we going to do NBA basketball tonight or till tomorrow?
It's up to you. Tomorrow.
I'm off, so it's really up to you.
Tomorrow.
All right, so we will be back Tuesday for our hoop segment. We'll talk about Florida State doing Florida things. I can't believe they fired Mike Brown, and they got to get the ratings up some kind of way. So we just fisticuffs as well as Hawks talk. Again, we're not gonna take a break or anything. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. We out of here.
Adios. And the Hawks play tomorrow, I think. Nope, we don't play till the next year.
We got our back-to-back right out the way.
Russ triple-double, 16, 10, and 10. Joker, 36, 23, and 11. LeBron.
Double, triple-doubles?
LeBron. Y'all had us thinking Russ was washed. Better take them clothes out the dryer.
Peace. See y'all later.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, boy.